Alright, another week of Overdress, this time with the Dark Irregular based archetype in Dark States, along with an OTT based archetype in Cater Sanctuary. So let's begin. But like always, cards on the last few days. Our first card is Security Patroller. Grade 2, 10k power, and its skills. Auto, when this card is placed on your rear guard, cost Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and imprison it. Wow, that's pretty good for a start deck card. Definitely run this. Next, for Dragon Empire, Drag Ritter Arvalis. Grade 2, 10k power, and skills. Auto, when this card is placed on rearguard, cost Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or greater rearguards and retire it. Not too bad as a tech option, so definitely consider it. Next, a Stoicheia Order card, the Cursed Soul Regals in Agony. It's a grade 3 normal order, and its skills cost Soul Blast 2, look at top 4 cards of your deck, choose one unit from among them and call it to rearguard, and discard the rest. But if this card is an Alchemy Magic, you can choose 2 cards instead, and those unit gets plus 5k power. Obviously meant for your Norga deck, and right now Stoicheia seems to lack soul charging, so it kinda sucks that this card needs a Soul Blast too, but luckily Norga doesn't do much Soul Blast, so this card might be decent in the Norga deck. But Sylvans will have some trouble. Finally, Sunlight Punishment. It's a grade 3 normal order, and its skill is cost Counter Blast as many times as you want. For each card you Counter Blast, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. My only gripe is that this is a grade 3, but other than that, it's actually not too bad. And now for the Tuesday stream, first off we got 2 V promo cards, which for some reason I cannot find the translations of their names, but the first one is a Royal Paladin, grade 2 with 10k power, and its skills. Count front row rearguard. All your front row rearguards cannot be retired by your opponent's card abilities. Wow, decent protection. Second skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard during your main phase, cost Counter Blast 1, put a grade 2 rearguard to the bottom of your deck, draw 2 cards and choose a card from your hand and call it to rearguard. Alright, this card is really good. Gives out protection and also cycle with a +1. Next is a Dimensional Police grade 2 with 9k power, and its skill is Auto. When this unit is placed on Vanguard rearguard, if your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 2 or greater, choose one of these listed abilities. But if your opponent's at grade 3, you perform both abilities. Your opponent may Counter Blast 1, if they did not, draw a card. Or, your opponent may Soul Blast 1, if they did not, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and it gets minus 5k power until the end of turn. So basically this card forces your opponent to waste resources or you get pluses. I personally do not like this card because I have to give my opponent a choice to either give me a plus or have them waste their resources, but regardless, it's a win-win for you in many occasions. But the Royal Paladin one is damn good. And now for some overdress promos. Our first one is a Dragon Empire Blazing Spear Dragon. Grade 2, 10k power, and skill is Auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard, if your opponent has no units in the same column as this unit, cost Counter Blast 1, and this unit gets plus 10k power until the end of turn. Don't bother with this one. Next is the Dark States Direct Full Doll Violetta. Grade 2, 10k power, and skill is Axe Soul. If your soul has 10 or more cards, cost Counter Blast 1, and call this to rearguard. Pretty good, especially in premium. It could be a choice soul charger and also can be considered an extra attacker. Next is Brandgate Rapid Charger. Grade 1, 8k power, and its skills. When they attack that this unit boosts its hits, soul charge 1. Don't bother with this one. Next for Cater Sanctuary, Prescription Angel. Grade 1, 8k power, and skill is Auto rearguard. When your Vanguard is attacked, cost Counter Blast 1 and retire this unit, choose a face-up card in your damage zone and call it to the Guardian. And then put the top card in your deck into your damage zone. This is actually pretty good and has a lot of potential, especially of course Angel Feather decks. And finally for Stoicheia, Swell Assault. Grade 1, 8k power, and skills Auto rearguard. When they attack this unit boosted hits a Vanguard, if it's the 3rd battle of the turn, cost retire this unit, countercharge 1. Don't bother with this one, especially even if you're playing Aqua Force. And now for the main cards itself, let's start with the Dark State stuff. Here's our starter, Uncanny Burning, which like all overdress starters when rolled upon, if you went second, draw a card. Still want to see starters with unique abilities. And then to continue off to the grade 1, Deep Sonicer. Grade 1, 8k power, and skills. Auto. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, soul charge 1. Second skill, Count rearguard. During your turn, if your soul has 10 or more cards, this card gets plus 10k power. Of course, this is a Dark Irregular based archetype, so this is going to focus a lot on soul. And unlike other ride deck main cards, this card can be considered a 4 of in your deck due to its second skill. Next, Electro Spartan. Grade 2 tank power and skills. Auto when this unit is rolled upon by Master of Gravity, Baromagnes, aka your grade 3. Cost. Put a card from your hand to soul, draw a card, and soul charge 1. Second skill. Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. Cost. Combat 1 and soul charge 2. Another ride deck based card that can be played as a 4-up because of its second skill. And can also be played in your final rush deck because of this second skill, because that deck desperately needs soul. Finally, the second boss for Dark States, Master of Gravity Baromagnes. Grade 3, 13 power and skills. Auto Vanguard when this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1, perform all the following abilities depending on the number of cards in your soul. Fire more, draw a card, 10 or more, this card gets plus 10 power and 1 crit until the end of the battle. 15 or more, all players put all of their rearguards into their soul, and then you choose 2 cards from your soul and call them to rearguard. And then those units get plus 10k power. Alright, another one of those cards that get more powerful depending on the number of cards in your soul, which is actually what I like. Although the 15 or more can be a double-edged sword depending on the deck, because if you're playing against one of those decks that heavily rely on soul, well, you might just have helped them, although you do clear out their board, so that's not too bad. At least during the overdress era, soul charging a certain number of cards to achieve a certain number might be a little difficult, especially getting to 10, but if you're playing this in premium, oh boy, Castile Demonis just continues to get stronger as more cards get released. But overall, I do like its card design. And now for the Cater Sanctuary stuff that looks like OTT, here's the starter, Tri-Connect Sorceress. Moving on, Tier Square Sorceress. Grade 1 AK power and skills. Auto, when this unit is rolled upon by Pentagonum Sorceress, cost Counterblast 1, draw a card. That's a whatever. But its second skill, Auto Rearguard. Once per turn, when your drive check reveals a trigger unit, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards and put it to the bottom of the deck. Wow, with more ride deck cards that can be considered a 4-up. And of course, this is the Sorceress archetype playing based on OTT, so it's focusing on triggers. Next, Pentagonum Sorceress. Grade 2 tank power and skills. Auto when this unit is rolled upon by Hexaorb Sorceress, your grade 3. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them on the top of the deck in any order. Stacking, of course. Second skill. Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard, look at the top card of your deck, put it on the top or bottom. If you put it on the bottom, this unit gets plus 2k power. Another one of those ride deck cards that can be considered a 4-up. And this one's really good for the archetype, which of course lets you look at the top card of your deck, aka usually triggers. You of course would leave it at the top, and if it's not a trigger, you usually want to put it in the bottom, and if you got the bad luck because of it, this unit gets plus extra 2k power. So yeah, pretty good. Finally, Hexaorb Sorceress. Grade 3, 13 power and skills. Auto Vanguard. When your drive check reveals a trigger unit, choose one of your rearguards and it gets plus 10k power. So essentially, it doubles the trigger value for one of your rearguards. That's pretty good. But its second skill, Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, if you Persona Ride during this turn, cost Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, reveal one critical or front trigger from your hand, put it on the top of your deck, and this unit gets plus 1 drive check in the end turn. So basically, you're reusing a trigger from your hand. That's pretty nice. Now my only gripe is that you do have to Persona Ride for this skill, and I see this more as the main skill than the first one, but overall I like its design. The first skill shouldn't be that much of a problem because you will have support cards that can look at the top cards of your deck, thus pretty much guaranteeing yourself to drive check the trigger so that you can trigger a bunch of abilities, while the second skill, when you Persona Ride, you're just making it where you can guarantee to get a trigger in your trigger checks. So overall, pretty nice. Finally, next week we got our Link Joker based archetype for Brandgate, and a Desert Gunner unit that looks like a Kagero Narukami card for Dragon Empire. Very interested on the Link Joker based one because I am very tempted to build it. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about the Baromagnes and the Sorceress archetype? Definitely more interesting than the start deck ones so far, although some of these cards could actually be mixed with their start deck counterparts. Final Rush definitely needs Soul, and Baromagnes focuses on Soul charging, so you could actually play some of these cards for Final Rush. And Apex Ruler overall just needs better cards, especially for the Sorceress cards being able to check the top card of your deck, and you do want to drive check a grade 3 for Apex Ruler. yeah, make use of it. But other than that, have a nice day.